recording. So Matt, thanks for coming through again.
Absolutely.
So I had figured going into this that we would, talk about UFC 281 and get that out of the way, and then go on to 282. Okay. But then 282 happened, and we gotta talk about that immediately because
that's fresh. That's fresh.
The two decisions, the only two decisions on the card,
killer card. Otherwise,
crazy. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have a card of nothing but finishes, it's wild.
Wow, literally, like a 12 for 14 or 10 for 12 or something?
Yeah. Literally the only decisions on the card were the last two.
Only two. Wow.
And they were both super controversial. So the main event being Ankalaev versus Blachowicz ended in a draw. Okay. Yeah, what did you think of that?
Have you seen the scorecards?
Yes.
Okay.
I have seen
so even how they got there was weird, right?
Yes.
So, was it two judges gave first three to
Blachowicz? Yeah. And then one of those judges gave Ankalaev a 10-8 for the last round.
Yeah. Two of three also gave 10-8.
Yes.
I get that, I suppose. It's very one-sided.
It was very one-sided.
I think to fix scoring in general, 10-8's got to get more liberal.
Yes. Yeah. Right. They got to make it so that the current 10-8 should be like a 10-7.
Yeah.
That way we can have more flexibility with those 10-8s.
Because if people have trouble doing that, we're going to have to move to a 0.5 or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because the fact that those three that Jan won were pretty close.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when it comes down to, the judge giving Ankalaev a 10-8 for the last round, I could see him being like, well, Ankalaev won this by more than twice as much as Jan won any of his 3 rounds.
Which round do you disagree with?
I
think it's round 1 for me.
Oh, yeah?
I think Ankalaev won all those front kicks and stuff.
Okay.
There was a few, Jan got a few powerful shots in. He's got that long, straight jab. Mm-hmm. He's got a great ape index, huh?
Yeah,
you
probably.
noticed that? He's quite a bit longer. He was about an inch and a half shorter.
Yeah.
But quite a bit longer.
Mm-hmm. I kind of felt that Ankalaev won the third. When I was watching it, they were talking a lot about Blachowicz's leg kicks, and you can tell within the first minute he hits Ankalaev's leg.
If he could just hide those reactions, huh?
Yeah.
If he could just hide those reactions, because what's the judging system say? Damage over everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you're showing the damage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I think the biggest for me it's round 1. Ankalaev by cunt hair, Mm-hmm. The front kicks just outworked him a touch. Matchup wise, okay. The last 2 years, I'd say, maybe even longer than that. In my head, Ankalaev, he's pretty much been the best heavyweight best light heavyweight since John Jones left. Yeah, in my opinion, and that's what I thought. That's what I saw. Clean striking, clean, obviously great grappling and all that, which is going to use next time from round 1 on,
Yeah, right. I was shocked that he didn't use it sooner. I was waiting for
his hand speed's good. He's clean. He doesn't have a great reach, huh? You notice that? I think he has a 0 ape index.
I did think that what turned that third round is that he stopped staying in Jan's range.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to catch those leg kicks anymore, so he stayed real close. After that first minute, after he you could see him move his leg, from that point on, he was in punching range the whole time.
Yeah, he was. And he was better there. Cleaner there. Yeah. What makes Jan so good? That's what makes me wonder sometimes. Obviously, he's got power. Mm-hmm. He's herky-jerky. He's off the beat, right?
Yeah.
For example, when Ankalaev was having a good, nice counter, usually coming from the straight left, I think, or because he had to switch stances from his legs getting beat up. It was either straight right or straight left. There was a handful of times that Jan countered with that body kick. He said, I'm not as fast as him, but watch my timing, Yeah. And it's he's so weird. He's so herky-jerky. He's got the power. He's got the length. It's hard to pinpoint what makes Jan good, right? When you look at him, you're like... Because every time I see him, I'm like, that's not a good matchup for him. That's not a good matchup for him. But then he finds a way to get quite a bit done. If he had a chance to prep for 5 rounds, could have been different. Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to know because we didn't see Ankalaev try his grappling in the first couple rounds.
That's what wore Jan out the most, I would imagine. Right?
Yeah, right.
The end of round 3 and round 4 wore Jan out so bad. How easy did he get to that takedown? I mean, he just rushed him in round 5.
Yeah, by
his leg pain and kind of almost. It worked out. I think, did Jan try a kick or something? But it ended up looking like a bulldoze type of tackle, kind of sloppy.
Yeah, and you could tell at the end of that round, Ankalaev was really trying to finish it.
Yeah, he was.
Like
he
the
was.
last 30 seconds or so, like he
That
was
same position in round one might be a finish.
Yeah.
Same position in round one might be a finish.
Yeah, so it's strange, like, I imagine that the number of draws total in the UFC has to be less than 50.
Yeah, would imagine.
But, like, there's at least 2 now that were 4 vacant titles. Because, like, the BJ Penn Cal Uno one that everyone knows, and now a second one.
Who gets the ass into this? Teixeira.
Yeah. Well, he's immediately going to get the next chance now.
Well, even against who?
Against Jamal Hill. They got it signed.
They've
for
already said it.
283, yeah.
So that's the next title. Since it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they immediately...
Well, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, right?
I'm happy for him at 42
Great for him
years
to
old.
get the chance again.
Get it done, old people.
I think he's going to get it, too. Like,
that's a good
Jamal
matchup.
Hill might be scary, but, yeah, I mean...
Well, as long as he does... it's you know how it is to share. If you don't knock him out in round one, good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's going to lay on him
Once
and
he
drag
finally
on
gets
him
to you,
and take that
Jamal
breath
Hill's,
away.
His jiu-jitsu, it's... he's the one who got his arm snapped, right?
Yeah.
Against Paul Craig. Yeah. And then you're not going to see no off your back jiu-jitsu to share. He's going to smash you, pound you, arm triangle you, RNC you. You know?
Yeah. At the press conference immediately after they asked Dana what he thought about the main event, and he was
I didn't see his post-fight.
Yeah, he was like, "It's terrible." And they were like, "So what do you do next for this division? Do you have a rematch?" And he was like, "Nope, Teixeira versus Hill." And
that's for the title.
And he said, like, right away, they're like, "You normally don't make decisions on fight night." He's like, I'm feeling good tonight." So yeah, he also gave performance of the night bonuses to everyone who finished, which was everyone except for those last
they
2.
complain about the money, but then everyone on the low says, Dana, he'll hook you up in the back, man.
Yeah, I mean, whenever somebody puts on a show, he gives them
He'll hook
an
you up in
extra
the back,
50,000.
even if you don't get your 50.
Yeah.
But I guess they should, especially if they're only going to give a limited amount.
Yeah.
They maybe should move the bonus up to $75,000, $80,000, right?
Yeah, they also gave the win bonus
Inflation's a
to
motherfucker.
the one that Ponzinibbio beat. Morono? I think it was Morono.
He got performance even though he lost?
He got a win, but he got his win check even though he lost.
Oh wow, yeah, he came to play,
for
dude.
stepping in. Yeah, I mean it was a great fight between them.
He had that long straight right, huh?
Yeah,
it's subtle the difference in the setup that made it land. Mm-hmm. The way he actually leaned in a little further, it was like a shoulder fake, and he leaned in to get that extra reach in there.
Yeah,
look at him. He's old. He's not fast. He's got timing. He's got heart. Wow,
it was a good comeback. I thought that Morono had him after the second round.
He did.
So yeah, the Paddy Pimblett fight.
Yeah.
Watching that after the first round, I was like, all right, it's pretty close, but he's getting caught with those
left hooks look bigger.
Yes, and like he acted like they didn't phase him. Like every time he landed, it was whatever. But
he would bounce right back. But when you see him face
like
snap,
they landed straight on the chin, like they were clean shots. And so at the end of the first round,
speaking of how clean a jaw shot is, back to Ponzinibbio.
Yeah.
How about the slow mo on Moreno?
Oh yeah.
It seemed like he was fine after the fight, but at the moment it looked like his jaw locked up or went to the wrong side.
Yeah, it looked
ugly.
Like he got tetanus right there, lockjaw, just or he had a stroke
right away.
in
That
the
fight
middle of it.
kind of seemed right at the moment, it seemed like a notch of an early stoppage. Maybe I just felt like that because I was happy for Morono to be up 2-0, I thought.
Yeah.
But no, it was legit.
But yeah, after seeing that, he was beat pretty bad in that moment.
Paddy got a freebie.
Yeah. No, every round that ended, the first 2 rounds, it was like, oh, that was a close round, but I think Jared Gordon got it. Then the last round, it was like, oh, undeniable.
Yeah.
He had it.
Yeah.
And then, like, when the scores were announced, it was like, what is that?
I was expecting 2-1 Gordon, but I could also understand 30-27 Gordon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If anything, the only round I could possibly see is round 2 for Paddy.
Yeah.
And I think the entire MMA world agrees with this. I saw some polls that look like about 80%.
Yeah.
About 80%. Minus the diehard UK riders here.
Yeah. It's one of the few times where
that stat probably lines up exactly with like the proportion of fans, right?
Yeah,
20% of people.
Yeah.
And those are probably all UK people.
It's one of the only fights where I immediately went on to Twitter to see what people thought because I was
Did you see any
blown away.
polls? I saw mostly 80%-ish.
I didn't see anybody who thought that Paddy won. This
84%,
morning on
86%,
like
81%.
MMA Reddit, I saw a few people who were like, but it seemed like they were trolling.
And then what he had the nerve to say
that he
at
knew?
the end.
Yeah.
I like Paddy quite a bit. Not skill-wise. I see all kinds of holes, but I like him. He's
clearly
seems to be
now
positive. Knows how to sell. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a lot of development out of him right now, and
Yeah.
or not at a fast rate.
I was waiting to see him do some jiu-jitsu because he has a lot of submissions on his record.
He's top 5 or 10 in grappling in the division.
Yeah.
No other category can I say that about him.
Yeah. So it was weird that he like seemed to insist to stay on his feet, even though like he kept getting hit with those left hooks. Yeah. Like the fact that
I saw him looking for the uppercut because Gordon had his head down. He landed one of them, but he was looking for a big one, and it never was there.
Yeah, a lot of his swings, like he was looking for a knockout, and Gordon was constantly out of the way of
How
those
strong are these,
swings.
man? I don't really do these.
They're 200 milligram caffeine.
The whole thing. The whole thing is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got some real good coffee at home too.
It's like a little bit more than a Monster, less than one of them Bangs or Reigns. Yeah, I kept waiting to see some jiu-jitsu out of Paddy Pimblett, and he didn't, and I think it cost him.
I also don't think his advantage on the ground was gaping. It was small.
Yeah.
Small, if any. And you know that Jared Gordon is an MMA-type grappler. He's not going to be off his back doing some stuff like that. Did you hear the gym stories about them training together?
No, I didn't.
So everybody there, and Gordon, Flash Gordon, I should remember that. Flash Gordon, he said, no, it was stalemates. Stalemates, nobody tapped anybody.
Yeah.
And then Pimblett's story goes, I tapped him once or twice or something like that.
Yeah.
I missed the details on him saying that, but that's what I heard. And you could see if Paddy was better than him on the ground, it was by just a touch.
Yeah.
Not enough. That was an interesting choke he went for. I've seen a few guys that are good at that.
Yeah, he kept like reaching over, like almost.
Well, he was
like
going
a
for 100%.
choke.
He was also he also did this weird side from the angle thing where it was a RNC grip, but with the arm involved. I see a few guys pull that off, especially when we do EBI overtime and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed like a strange reverse Darce or something.
For a second.
Yeah, I was hoping to see something flashy like that, and then disappointed when it didn't arrive.
Is is he delusional to think he won the first two?
I think he is.
I think that's delusional, and if that's his attitude, okay, he's going up in talent next.
Yeah,
who can he beat in the top 15?
Yeah, right. If he's struggling that much with Gordon, there's nobody. I mean,
Drew Dober, blast him.
It's one of the toughest divisions. Like, you can't pick somebody out of the top 15 that he's going to be.
I can't see a
feeling
matchup
good
for
against.
him. Yeah. I like the guy. I mean, if I was him, I would keep trying to get easy matchups and keep your star rising, and then just lose when you get to the title.
it's like Sean O'Malley. Like Sean O'Malley had opportunities to step up earlier, and he kept taking like lower fights because like it wasn't time yet for him to move up.
Is this decision worse than Sean O'Malley?
I think if he decides to go up,
worse than the Sean O'Malley decision. Well, that one has so many implications.
I think the Sean O'Malley Yan was very close. I wasn't mad.
But now O'Malley's going to get a title shot or a top 2.
Yeah.
Patty's much farther back in the rankings than that, but
but I think
that one was also
a clearer
bad.
loss.
That was also bad.
I think this one was much clearer that Patty lost.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I do think it's pretty delusional of him to be so confident that he won those two. Like, he was like, yeah, I won those, no question. Like, come on. Even if you think you won, there's an argument to be made that he won the first two. But, like, it's a tough argument to make.
I don't see it. He worked. He would throw some leg kicks. He threw some sloppy shots. Like I said, I don't see his striking improving at a good rate.
Yeah.
When's he going to put his chin down? When's he going to put the opposite hand up when he's in the pocket bombing?
Yeah.
Why are you in the pocket bombing when you're long as hell?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, at 5'10", he looks damn near 6 foot to me. Mm-hmm. Or either that or Gordon's 5'7" or something.
Yeah.
5'6", I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Patty in the cage when I'm used to seeing him like chubby. I was like, oh man, he's got like an actual straight face now. Like his face is all thin. I was like,
if he had a different haircut, he might be a beautiful man.
Yeah, right. It's a goofy look, that haircut.
But look at the crowd.
That's a very British look, right?
Yeah, he's
very
nailed
typical
the marketing
Liverpool
part.
Yeah.
Because look at his. Who can he beat in the top 10 to 15? I can't think of anybody.
Yeah, I can't, because it's one of the
he doesn't have
toughest
the wrestling
divisions
to go with his jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He was a Cage Warriors champion. We already know what kind of wrestling the Brits bring. The Brits are coming up big time in grappling and jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
But pure wrestling, they never had it. They're getting better at it because their no-gi jiu-jitsu scene is exploding.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the ability to get to... There's no elite wrestlers in... what's the promotion? Cage Warriors?
Yeah.
Cage...
That's Cage Warriors.
Cage Warriors, the British one. There's no elite wrestlers over there unless they're getting guys from the Eastern Bloc or something like that. UFC, who's the top wrestler at 55? Not that many anymore. But
yeah,
obviously,
I mean, Makhachev
obviously, yeah, no, he's a peon to Makhachev.
Yeah.
Makhachev could beat him with the flu with one hand behind his back, probably.
Yeah. What do you think? I was really excited to see Darren Till because, like, him and Kamzat are my favorite celebrity gay couples.
So him and Kamzat be hanging out, right? And Kamzat's a great wrestler, and they train together. And
so
Darren Till has made zero improvement in his wrestling.
Yeah, right. I was expecting him to be
South
better
African
at it.
guy with not a lot of technique. He looks like a physical beast, though.
Yeah. But you know what? He may have gotten smothered that first round. He came out the second round like swinging.
Man, I mean, I was hoping for the guy, right? So the way when he first came out with that stutter and those real fast feints, I was like, okay, he's on today. He's gonna land this left. Jeez, the takedowns that got him down are, I mean, wow, you can learn those on day 2 of grappling or something.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's a physicality difference.
Yes,
he's too small for 85. He's too big for 70. He's kind of stuck.
With Duplessis' striking and his grappling style both seem like not technically great, but he is
bigger,
such
stronger.
A monster. Yeah. I was talking with my dad while we were watching it. Middleweight's kind of a weird division where you get guys who look like monsters like Vittori and Paulo Costa, and then you get guys who look like Adesanya that look like twigs and stuff.
Right.
You don't see that as much in the other division.
It'll be anywhere from 5'8" to 6'5".
Yeah, right? You get a lot of shorter, bulkier guys in that division.
Like the guy that Shabazian faced, huh?
Oh, yes.
The guy has got bodybuilding as a backup plan.
Yeah.
What was his name? I didn't want to mess up your order.
Yeah, no. That was good for him, man. Good for Shabazian to get
he
back
left
in
to
the
Vegas,
wins.
and now he's doing good.
Yeah.
So that means what's his ex-coach's name? He's an Edmund also, right?
I don't know.
Rousey's ex-coach.
Yes.
He's also Edmund
Cartesian or something. He's got some Armenian name.
Yeah, they're all Armenian. I never seen a ginger Armenian until Edmund Shabazian.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Happy for him.
I did not realize Ilya Topuria is from. He has a Georgian flag.
Georgia flag speaks European Spanish.
Yeah, he's from Spain, I think,
Correct.
but like Georgian nationality, which like I assumed he was a South American based on his name and the way he looks and everything.
Yeah.
But Georgian, and they got. I like the country of Georgia. Sometimes my church has missionaries who live in Georgia
That's a Christian
that come
nation?
to visit. I believe it is, yeah. But
I mean, most nations are mixed, but majority.
Yeah, it's also though in that same Eastern European area where like Russia and Ukraine and that kind of area.
Yeah, there's only a small portion of Russians that are Christian. Right?
It's in that weird area that's a mix between like the Russian Orthodox Christian world and like the Muslim world.
Stans, all the Stans.
yeah, it's right in there with the Stan. I think it's on the border of Kazakhstan.
Sounds right.
And maybe on the border of Dagestan.
If anything, it's just west of that stuff and below.
But yeah, they got a few good fighters. Is Marab from there? Yeah. I was
Dolzadeh. Where's he from? Dolzadeh?
I'm not sure.
He the one who jacked up Hermanson a few weeks ago. He might be Jordan.
But I was stoked for Bryce Mitchell. I like Bryce Mitchell, and then he couldn't compete.
Yeah, I could tell. You look at you can look at Topuria. I've seen guys like this.
Yeah,
lots of the time they are like European Spanish guys.
Yeah,
he is so strong. I could tell you right now. If you lock up with him, you're gonna feel it. He's probably one of those guys who's so strong for how big he is. You know what I mean?
And man, so quick.
The power too.
Like the moment that they started, every exchange, like Bryce was getting clipped, and it was like, oh, this is different game. He's
gonna test his chin,
especially like after he just dominated Barbosa his last.
Yeah, he did. I was pretty impressed with that one. I think that's probably his biggest win. Right?
Yeah.
Did he beat Ige?
I'm not sure.
Or they maybe not even fought. Yeah, I could be confusing him.
But yeah, he dominated Barbosa, so I had high hopes for this. So I was like, yeah, he's going to
the wrestling difference there, right?
Yeah.
We know that Barbosa's an MMA guy who's susceptible to, being wrestled down and held down. Topuria, we think of him as a boxer because he's got all this power.
I was thinking of him as a kickboxer, but yeah,
his wrestling base
clearly
is strong.
his grappling is high level as well.
Props to Mitchell to even get him down. Mitchell doesn't come from wrestling, I don't believe. He's a jiu-jitsu grappler, you know what I mean? Who picked up enough takedowns. And he got him down a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the strength difference showed its face too,
There's
along with the power difference.
There's a stat I heard today that Ilia Topuria has ended the no-loss streak of like 3 out of the 5 people he's fought in the UFC.
Oh wow!
Which I think one of the other ones was the Ryan Hall win streak.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
he
that was a
ended
clean
his
one.
no-loss streak,
Yep.
which was another one where I went into it like I was a fan of Ryan Hall,
Hoping
and
for
then,
something special to happen.
Then it was just a weird fight because Hall just kept going for them rolls to try and take
Just
him
goes
down.
to show. I mean, and he got pretty far without really developing other parts of his game. He just found tricks to get to his game.
Yeah, Hall.
Ryan Hall, that is,
Yeah.
the Wizard, right?
Yeah.
It just goes to show if you're not well rounded enough, you can't even impose your specialty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm interested to see where Ilia Topuria goes because I think he's undefeated.
Maybe. He's only 11-0, 13-0 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But he's fighting at a level of top 5 guy to me already.
Yeah, clearly. Like after that win over Bryce Mitchell, and it's a division that has
He's going for that home run shot a little too much, huh?
Trying to knock him out
Yeah.
too much. Yeah, but I mean, he seems so slick that like he's not getting hit on the return. So
Helps Bryce Mitchell. He had a good couple reads. That's why he wasn't getting hit with those big shots.
Yeah.
I think when he was really loading it up, it's because he thought his timing is going to work.
Yeah.
But Mitchell did pick up enough to not get hit with some of those big crazy ones.
Mm-hmm.
Still got hit hard with quite a few, but if he could maybe put he still needs to calm down. He's talented. He's fast. He's strong. And how small is he? He looks like 5'5" to me. I think they're saying 5'7".
yeah, that seems about right. I mean, that's kind of short for some of the fighters in that division.
It could be an illusion, optical illusion.
Like Max Holloway is like 5'10", I think.
5'11". Bryce Mitchell's 5'10".
Yeah. Though it seems like it didn't bother him at all in that fight to be.
Well, remember he went up to 155 and knocked out that Jai Herbert.
Oh yeah,
Jai Herbert was 6 foot. 6'1".
I guess they've been talking about at the press conference afterwards that Ilia Topuria had some words with Paddy Pimblett. Like
so this is their second time. They've been beefing since last time they're on the same card, and I'm sure they.
So Topuria has gone up to 155 before. Yeah, that would be.
I think he puts it on Paddy, even though.
Oh yeah,
he's undersized.
I think no question at all that he would.
Unless the size is a bigger factor than we think, but I don't know.
I don't think so. Because it's not like it's a jump from like when Adesanya went up to light heavyweight where it's 20 pounds or somebody going from
probably similar percentage of size though.
It's also not like when the lightweights go up to welterweight, which we've seen before,
pounds.
which is still 50.
There's a chunk in
featherweight and lightweight's
jump.
just 10, so it's like he might be able to do that no problem.
Yeah, I would pick him over Pimblett. I don't think Paddy should. I think Paddy knows not to take that fight.
Yeah, it's good to see someone like Topuria because it's one of those divisions right now where, like, Volk is clearly the top, and who do you put up against him? Because
Josh, the interim title is going Emmett versus.
Oh yeah.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think so. Yair Rodriguez.
That's gonna be interesting.
Though, like, it's strange because Max Holloway just beat Rodriguez not too long ago, and
what's Max gonna do for a while?
Yeah, right. It's one of those divisions where, like, since we know the top guy, we also know the clear number 2 guy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what do you do to mix it up? You need somebody fresh like Topuria to be like, well, he might have a chance against Holloway, and therefore he might have a chance against Volkanovski too. If, once Volkanovski's done with his travel up to 155.
If size does become a factor for Topuria, it's going to be against somebody like... Probably I'm thinking Holloway or Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Then maybe because those guys can actually use length sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Max is not even long, but he uses range.
Despite the fact that I just brought up Yair Rodriguez lost to Holloway, that fight was
close.
It was a close fight, and Rodriguez looks like a beast.
Yeah.
What
an athlete!
He seems like he swings hard. Yeah. He swings hard and he's long, so he would be a tough matchup for anyone in that division, like Topuria. What other fights were there that night? I put a good amount of bets down.
What was a good one? Curtis and Buckley.
I didn't see all of that. I was driving.
That's a banger match.
Yeah.
You already know what happened and everything, though.
I am not sure. Did Buckley get a knockout?
No.
No, Curtis did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that there was some finish.
Yeah, but those guys, I don't think could have finished any other way.
Yeah, I
Rosenstruik had a good performance because you like Dawkins, right?
I do like Dawkins.
Now the physical difference between him and other guys is starting to show.
I think that
This is his third in a row, maybe.
Third in a row.
Third loss.
He may have broken his chin. Like he may have lost it after that Lewis knockout. Like he is not holding up well now. So I have had like $50 in my bookie account for the past year or so because every time there'd be a fight, I'd put some on this, some on this, and I would win and lose, and it would just kind of balance out. There, I lost almost everything yesterday. The one match I got right was Billy Quarantillo. I put some money on him, and like the first round, when I first found out
Hernandez was going featherweight, I said, "How?"
Yeah,
he's jacked at 155. There's no body fat as it is. Mm-hmm. But he looked great. Well, physically, he looked great.
Yeah.
He was done in the second round.
Yeah, I thought after the first one, I was like, oh, man, I lost
his first cut to 45, and they put him against a guy who's all pace.
Yeah.
Like, that's how Billy wins.
Yeah.
He's all pace.
Yeah, by that second round, like, Quarantillo turned it around and was just demolishing him, overwhelming him. And then the rest of the fights, I put money on. Bryce Mitchell, I put money on.
He was underdog, though, right?
Yeah.
Not by much, huh?
I think only one underdog on the card won, and I think it was Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis.
Who else? I put like parlay on Dawkins and Darren Till because I was like, they're probably both gonna lose, but I like them. So lost both.
Betting with your heart.
And then Ankalaev, I was like, this one's for sure. And
I thought,
yeah, and
I'm gonna continue to underestimate Jan, I guess. I don't know.
Everybody lost money on that one because it's not like anybody thought there was going to be a draw.
House keeps everything, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was something like a plus 6,600 if you bet it was a draw. Wow. So like you get a 6,000 back if you bet 100.
So if a couple people did that, it goes back to even, huh?
Yeah, I heard somebody say those are always worth putting a couple bucks down. Just you never know.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
Yeah, it's wild night of fights. Those two decisions I think are going to go down as pretty controversial for a long time, unless
I feel bad for Gordon because that's a big name. He could have catapulted off that, but karma's going to come back quick when Pimblett goes against
somebody better.
Who could they match him up with decently right now? Nobody. He'll get crushed by.
Yeah,
I think he'll. Man, I think McKinney is what I've heard people talk about a lot.
Yeah.
The speed difference, the athletic difference, the sharpness in the punches.
I'm going to look up the rankings for the lightweight.
You ever notice the way Patty, when he throws those hooks to, he's like hitting with his knuckles right here?
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Hurt yourself, man.
Like that.
Why aren't you throwing them straighter from your distance?
Mm-hmm. It's a weird.
I've chin up in the air, just brawling.
It's ridiculous. I've seen a few guys who do that, who throw hooks with the inside of the hand, and it's always
you're not wearing gloves, dude.
What is that? What are you
not wearing
doing
full
there?
Gloves.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh man, the top 15 and 14 right now are Ferguson and McGregor.
Wow.
So like that shows how kind of stacked.
Could he beat Ferguson? Maybe that's about it.
He might be able to beat Ferguson.
I don't think Moicano's coming into
form. Moicano, yeah. Damir Ismagulov. I'm not sure if I've seen him.
I can't pinpoint that face. Hooker, maybe
because he's also on the downturn.
No, because look, he had a good performance last fight though.
He did, yeah. He's
kind of
on the upswing and back again.
Jalen Turner,
and then once you get into the top 10,
Gamrot and Saryukin will mush.
Yeah, destroy him.
Dos Anjos, maybe.
No, I don't think so. I like Dos Anjos a lot, and I think he still puts up performances for how old he is. Yeah.
What was his last fight? Oh, he just had a one at 170.
One. Yeah, that's right.
Man, he's one of the most consistent guys in UFC history, dude.
Yeah, he's pretty great. I think he's like severely underrated for how successful
for his total
he has
career.
been. Yes, because I mean, what champion doesn't get the respect as much as he doesn't? Like
nowadays, Woodley.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a weird one though, because I watched a video recently on why fans hate him, and I was not a UFC fan when he was fighting.
Okay.
Like I only started watching in like 2018 at the tail end of his championship, but like they played clips of him talking about after the draw with Stephen Thompson, how he didn't want a rematch because Stephen Thompson didn't deserve it. And it was like, you guys got a draw.
Those are some funny ones. Those matchups were both funny, yeah.
He kept asking for a money fight with Nick Diaz, and yeah, he wasn't a draw, but he kept complaining about how he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. And like, yeah, it's upsetting.
His skill set just dwindled down to nothing too, right?
Yeah.
Overhand rights that were big wind-ups, like, and it really showed its face once he tried boxing, right?
Yeah.
How about a jab? How about a feint? How about, I mean, even though the punch was fast, it's telegraphed so bad.
And, like, by the time, like, he lost his belt, like, his wrestling wasn't peak. Like, he was getting out-wrestled by Usman and Covington and Burns as well, right? Yep. Like, it's a quick drop-off, though, whenever there's a lot of big names who, once they lose once, they can't win again. Yeah. Yeah, so... Let's go back to 281 though, because that was actually a pretty good card. I always expect Israel Adesanya cards to be boring. That Israel Adesanya Alex Pereira fight was his most entertaining fight. Yeah, it was back and forth the whole time, and much like the Usman fight, going into that fifth round, I was like, oh, Adesanya's got it. Like, I don't think it's a question. This is going to go to the decision. Adesanya's going to get a win, and then...
Where'd Pereira get the gas? Right?
Yeah, right?
You take round 4 off on purpose?
yeah, maybe. That's what that was Duplessis' claim yesterday with Darren Till. He was like, I exhausted myself first round, took the second round off, and it was like...
I kind of believe it.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it. Like, he was clearly gassed at the end of the first, but came out going full force at the third.
If you're Izzy, you don't... I mean, you still feel like you can win.
Yeah.
You still feel... How do you feel about the stoppage?
I think it was a decent stop.
It was decent. He could have took 1 or 2 more, but I guess
I think he was still on his
better
feet
for
at
your
the time.
long-term career to stop it then.
Yeah.
But, hey, this guy beat you twice already.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the World Kickboxing fights?
Yeah.
I think Izzy won the first one.
I think that's a fair choice. Yeah, I think that it was... Yeah, I think he probably won the first one.
Yeah.
He
was up
2-0. Yeah.
He was up 2-0 in the second one before he got cleaned up.
Yeah. I think that he clearly is the better skilled fighter. Whereas Alex Pereira, it only takes a couple hits. Who can
physically match up with... Well, you know what? To be honest, let's say it's probably going to be an Izzy rematch, which is fine. But I think... Well, is there any wrestlers at 85? Brunson? He's old now,
Brunson
and he never was
Gastelum,
great. But Gastelum, he forgot how to wrestle.
Yeah.
At this point, if you're the only middleWeight that Darren Till beat, that doesn't look good.
But I know that Khamzat's talking about coming up.
Oh, yeah. Khamzat runs through Pereira to me.
I think so. Though, I think that with everyone with Khamzat, he's one of those guys that I think could beat most of the guys on
But if you survive, he's shown, at least... When he cuts to 70, he's shown that he may gas out if he doesn't finish you.
Yeah.
In the first round, he may gas around 2 and 3, maybe.
Yeah, but that first round's super dangerous with him. Like, he just attacks people.
So I think we maybe underestimate Pereira's grappling a little bit.
Yeah, because he trains with Teixeira.
Yeah.
And that says a lot.
But there's... Yeah. I mean, I feel like anybody with this certain skill set we're defining runs through him, Khamzat type. There just isn't anybody.
I would be interested to see...
Can Whitaker do
Whitaker,
it,
yeah. I would be interested to see him fight Whitaker because...
Whitaker is probably more chinny than
Adesanya. Yeah. I think that Whitaker has some grappling skills that I would like to see. And
use more often, huh?
I think that the threat of that from somebody like Whitaker could change the striking for someone like Pereira, because he didn't have to worry about that much with Adesanya. I think Adesanya went in for a shot at one point.
Yeah, there was a shot attempt or two. How did he get the takedowns? That long against the cage, huh?
I think
underhooks
so.
or a duck under type of.
Yeah, I don't think it was like a straight shot.
And you go to the back kind of thing.
Yeah. But like. With somebody like a Whitaker where that's more of a threat, I think it changes the striking game and could become something interesting. But
unless he lines that knee up.
Pereira also just... they call him Stonehand. He looks like those South American heads, the Olmec statues.
Yeah.
Like, he's just chiseled. and he looks like a monster.
I have those photos of him training with Dominic Reyes. Well, even when he's training with Teixeira, he's bigger than them.
Yeah, he's massive.
How does he make the weight? I mean, I know he makes the weight because he's slender in the middle and all that, you know?
Yeah.
But they always say he's not a big middleweight, but it seems like, well, 6'4", he's got some power, you know?
But
he's
long.
So much smaller than Pereira.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
It's
quarter
wild
inch shorter, and he's not as long.
That's the thing.
And Pereira's fist is bigger, his feet are bigger.
You see Adesanya looking all thin, and you think, oh, Pereira must be shorter because he's that much bulkier. But no, he's just a bigger dude all around. Looks like he was created by the Aztec gods to ruin Stylebender's day.
What is I can't remember the damn name of the natives in Brazil.
Yeah.
Or the tribe names.
Oh, yeah. The one that he's a part of. Yeah. I guess I
the
shouldn't.
Incas stop.
I guess I
Incas are
shouldn't say
northwestern South
Aztecs.
America.
Yeah,
right?
it's not the same.
Yeah, not
place
Olmecs
at all.
either, but
yeah,
they don't make them that tall.
yeah. And then that same card had the Michael Chandler Dustin Poirier fight.
Chandler, man,
he's an interesting.
He's a beast of an athlete.
Yeah,
but wow,
he keeps getting beat. But
all these years
he
in
keeps
the game,
getting beat in close
he can't
fights.
put his hand up. He can't throw. He just lines up that right, and he's like, got this hand down. When he throws his left hook, this hand's down. Mm-hmm. I mean, wow.
I think he's at the point where he's
worth the money, but
caring. Yeah. I mean,
that's maybe the way to put it.
That's definitely it. Because
he doesn't want to be more technical.
I don't think he wants to be champ. I don't think he cares that much.
What's the reign? He's not going to have a reign.
So he's like, I just
when in retire sounds like the way to go out to me.
He just wants to put on some entertaining fights, make some money. Because you can say whatever you want about his skill. He is entertaining.
Oh, absolutely.
He hasn't had one fight in the UFC that hasn't been classic. The Gaethje fight lost, but looked wonderful doing it. The Oliveira fight lost, but looked wonderful doing it. Actually, it was wild that Poirier got the rear naked choke on him in the body lock position.
Oh man, that was the skill level, right? Okay, first of all, how about the grappling exchange a little bit before that, where there was a couple slams, overdues, waste of energy. I thought that Chandler did, but there was one. I don't remember if it was a duck under situation. It was a messed up takedown, but he swiveled to the back beautifully, right? And I was like, oh wow, I didn't even think Chandler could grapple that good. He's more of a meathead wrestler. Poirier catches the second hook from coming in, right? Details, black belt, right? Mm-hmm. Details, and then when he gets his chance, all the way around, straight to the body triangle.
Yeah.
But you saw when he was attempting his RNC, you're like, this guy's not a jiu-jitsu player.
Yeah, I thought in the Oliveira fight with Chandler, he was in Oliveira's body lock and got out. Yeah. So when Poirier had him, I was like, well, Poirier's not Oliveira in jiu-jitsu. Yeah. He's doesn't got this. And then he locked it in. I was tighter. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, or just a little, it was just a little bit further into the fight. So Chandler didn't have that energy to fight.
Look at how Chandler escapes. It's not technical, it's explosive.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
It's not detailed and technical. He
just
explodes
spins. Out. He doesn't
At
break
36, he still relies on physicality.
Yeah, doesn't break the legs lock. He just spins until he gets out. Yeah.
And maybe the difference in the length and thinness of the legs could have been that.
I mean, Poirier's probably got some beastly legs with all those American top team leg kicks that he does.
Oh,
you noticed that yesterday's card, no women fights.
I did notice that because my girl likes to. I mean, she watches with me. And we always watch and she looks forward to those the most.
Yeah.
In the Rosario.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't remember any card being like that in a long time.
Not too many of those.
And I'm a big fan of the women's divisions.
Yeah, quite a bit.
I've been waiting for the next Shevchenko fight to be announced because I thought she lost that
probably
Santos
did.
fight. And so
I'd like to think she can make the adjustments and win this time.
I think she probably could. I mean, we saw it with Nunes and
why did she
Pena.
force herself to grapple so much? I feel like there was a striking advantage to be had, and she's a little bit stubborn like that. She'll try to beat the person at how they're supposed to beat her.
Was it Andrade that she fought where she just got her in a crucifix and
kept
just
doing
laid
a body lock trip takedown? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, where it felt like she went into it going I'm gonna beat her at her own game. I'm gonna out wrestle her, and she did. Her wrestling looked beautiful in that fight.
That last fight, she was outmatched a little bit physically, not technically,
Tyler Santos is just a bigger one.
Yeah, no, she's probably his biggest, strongest girl at that weight class, probably.
Yeah. So women's fights tend to be some of my favorites. Some of my favorite fighters are the women's
What I always say is they fight with more hate in their heart.
yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot more. They get, there has to be more energy because they retire a lot quicker than men.
That's true.
Like, a lot of the...
They try to have a baby in their 30s and stuff.
Yeah, like, a lot of the ones that are, like, known as the greats in women's MMA, you look at their record and it's like, oh, they had, like, 6 fights?
Nunes isn't doing it because... her wife's retiring.
Yeah.
And she's the one having the babies.
Yeah, so Nunes keeps going on. But, like, the Misha Tates, like, I looked up a couple months ago after some Gino Carano stuff happened. I was like, I'm going to watch all of her fights, see how they are. And there's, like, 6 of them.
Yeah.
But it's her whole career. Like, even
she was only like 13-1 or something and then called it up.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Even being, like, a trailblazer she is, like... Oh, that's a short career.
Still
whereas you get someone like a Donald...
Dos Anjos.
Dos Anjos or a Donald Cerrone or... a lot of those guys Jim Miller, that go on to like have 50 fights, and it's like, whew, that's a long career.
And all those years he fought with Lyme disease and all that too.
Yeah,
Jim Miller's story's pretty tough.
Yeah, on that Adesanya card there was the Esparza Wiley Zhang. What did you think of that? Did you expect it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah,
I suppose.
I kept hoping that we were all underestimating Carla.
I was hoping,
Esparza.
for entertainment, and she's kind of 10th Planet Irvine, if I know correctly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
yes.
Team Oyama is 10th Planet Irvine, the location they share at least.
My
brother, I know he's trained with her a couple times or something.
There's a dude, Charlie B, who's a rapper in the area. When Carla fought Rose, I was at an event in Pomona, and I was watching that card on my phone, and I was like, Rose and Carla are about to fight. And he's like, Carla, yeah, she's the homie. She's from around here. I know her.
That's her area, 626?
No, I think he's from somewhere near here, LA,
okay,
so I think it's closer to around here.
Yeah, I think she's more LA, and she currently trains out of Irvine.
Yeah. She's like a hometown person. So I always like when people are from this area. I root for them. But
we know her limits.
Now we get stuck in this circle of like, are they gonna give Rose back to Zhang? Are they gonna have that fight for a third time? Because I don't think so. But you're always gonna have that question, like, well, Rose beat her twice, so like, you gotta have that fight. But I don't want to see that. Yeah, I don't want to see Rose with the belt again.
I know, right? The crown's too heavy for her. I heard somebody word it like that once, and that's what it is. The crown's too heavy for her.
Though, like, maybe if we see her in another fight, maybe if they give her somebody else that's top 5 and we get to see her put on an excited performance, then it's like, okay, now we can have her fight for the belt again.
If she wants to.
But at the moment...
For all we know, she might say, yeah, I'm going to have a baby too. You know?
Yeah. Have you ever heard, like, the strange relationship she's got with
Pat Berry? He's been with her since she was, 14, 15?
Something like that. Like, he's been, like, training her since that age, but they weren't together until she was 18. But even that, that's strange.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the official story. I'm not gonna say anything unofficially, but unofficially there may have been something. Yeah, right.
Maybe
something
they were in
like
New Jersey,
Wisconsin or something.
Legal age.
Yeah, it's strange. It's even if they weren't together, it's like that's still kind of grooming. Like that's a little a little strange. Though at the same time, like I don't know, maybe I shouldn't judge.
Maybe he truly
maybe they're cool now. Yeah, maybe it is a decent.
I know that they've been engaged for like 10 years and they're not married. I know that.
Yeah, that's strange too. Why bother getting engaged?
I've been seeing them put fiance/coach on his description on her embeddeds and whatnot for 8 years now.
It's strange when like fighters get in a relationship with their coach and don't get a new coach.
Ooh.
Like.
Joanne Calderwood just married her coach, right? She's Joanne.
Oh, yeah.
Wood now?
Now, Joanne, that's strange, too. That, they got similar last names.
That one got me, too. I'm like, they missed... When I first saw it, I thought, they put it up wrong.
Because I feel like there's, like, a coach that's also in a relationship with his fighter is not going to say the right things anymore that they need. Yeah. Like, I don't see Pat Berry telling Rose that she's losing. Correct. And that was the problem
wants her
with
to take
their
less
fight.
Damage, more importantly, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't want her face getting ugly, but But yeah, that's what made that Esparza fight so terrible. Is like she kept being told that she was winning when
That definitely,
she's not
yeah.
doing anything.
And who was the other coach? Who's her?
Oh, it's Whitman.
Whitman.
Which,
yeah, maybe he should have. He should have been the louder voice.
Yeah, he should be taken over as.
He should have been the louder voice there. Yeah.
Because he's a dang fine coach.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he went from coach of the year to all three of his champs lost, right? Or wait, all three of his fighters. Gaethje.
That's right.
Did
Gaethje? Oh yeah, Gaethje lost to Oliveira.
Oh yeah, he lost
recently.
that one, right?
Yeah.
So 3 title fights in a row with his fighters, I believe, because he only has 4 guys or something. Right?
Yeah, it's insane how much the titles have changed hands this year. The fact that like both Usman and Adesanya were so dominant.
Yeah.
That like the fact that their belts have changed hands is wild. I mean, the light heavyweight has changed hands once, twice this year. No, once.
Supposed to be a third time.
Twice, yeah. And then, yeah, lightweight has just changed. Like the whole rankings have been disrupted this year. Except
Makes it the most exciting sport in the world.
Yeah,
anything can happen.
So unexpected. The only one who's still holding on to it is Volkanovski. And,
True.
I mean, Figueiredo's got his back, but like,
they're doing a fourth.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you
think about the last one?
Yeah. What do you think about the last one, and what do you expect to happen this time?
Well, there's obviously a power difference.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Moreno outscores him.
Yeah.
But he gets the ground a few times. You know, he gets dropped. He pops back up, but you know that counts for something. That's I'm sure the judges look at that and think damage. I don't know. If you're a judge, do you think damage? If someone hits the ground but they pop up, is that damage or not? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was effective. Like
yeah, if it doesn't leave a mark, does that matter?
At that point, we're just giving credit for this guy's durability.
Yeah. Moreno is one of those guys.
Last fight could have went either way.
Yeah, I think so.
The only one who's had a dominant victory is Moreno.
Was Moreno, yeah.
You know, I guess I should see myself rooting for him. I see Figueiredo as a bantamweight who could barely make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Moreno's a guy that I love to watch because
he's better than I ever thought he could be.
I love strange styles, and the way he moves and stuff is just a little weird. Yeah, it reminds me of Pacquiao. Like it's like awkward, and he's coming in at different angles, and his timing's really strange. He just looks like he's grooving, like he's having fun.
It's definitely
out there.
A rhythm to it, right?
Yeah,
and where he doesn't have in athleticism, he has in rhythm and technique and tenacity and cardio.
Mm-hmm.
He's a much better fighter than I ever thought he could. We're just watching his young career, Ultimate Fighter. He got dropped. I never saw anything more than a tough kid with some pretty good grappling. You know what I mean? Wow, he showed me up like he's. Way better skill level than I ever thought he could achieve.
Yeah, you think so? You think he's gonna be able to take this?
Well, I mean, eventually that chin has to give out, right?
Yeah.
Shit. And I doubt Figueiredo's losing any power in his punch. That doesn't really go away as you get older. Maybe your speed goes away, but he's got the power difference is the biggest issue, and it's a toss up again.
Yeah, that is the next one.
It's a toss up again. Yep. Next to the big pay-per-view in
January. That's the one that they added the Teixeira Hill fight to.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
And yeah, because it is in Brazil. Figueiredo's Brazil.
Correct. Like, good. Yeah.
So they're gonna
that strengthens that quite a bit, huh?
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think fighters fight harder in their hometown, or do you think they?
There's mixed reviews, right?
Yeah. There's more pressure.
Depends.
I know, like Lewis keeps losing in Houston or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the hometown advantage is going to fire up Figueiredo enough to take on Moreno.
Possibly. Maybe some willingness. And as long as they're not directly in his hometown, I think that means that becomes the biggest factor because, okay, you got to get tickets. You got to constantly talk to UFC staff to try to get things for my local people. And, you need to be focused on your camp and you need to be focused on your opponent and all that. So you hear mixed reviews with people. Some say it helps me. Some people say it doesn't. I kind of think it depends how close to home you are.
Yeah.
It's just in your home nation, you're probably doing all right.
Yeah. Where was that Oliveira fight in Brazil as well?
No, that was Abu Dhabi, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I knew that somebody had.
I think they haven't been in Brazil in a while.
Crowd.
Right? This is gonna be the first one back in a while.
Yeah, I was feeling like that, but I was also feeling like the Makhachev fight was at somebody's hometown. But I was
kind of his.
Because it is in the Middle East,
Islamic area.
Yeah. So that's why I was feeling that way. And I mean, Islam got it done. So yeah, maybe a close proximity to home, but not close enough
Right.
that you got your family watching. You don't want to get knocked out in front of your
Yeah,
family.
like when you got to get tickets for your like elementary school best friend and his people, and maybe that's something you don't want to have to handle.
Yeah. So what are there any fights coming up that you're looking forward to?
I look forward to all of them.
Yeah.
What's coming up this weekend? Isn't there a few in a row now?
I
Couple
think
fight
the
nights?
last fight night left this year is Strickland versus Cannonier.
Oh, you know
That's
what I
the
wanted to
next
mention
one.
a little bit too?
Yeah.
Like, and I thought about it a second ago because you brought up Derek Lewis, and I thought about his last loss was to Ivasa.
That
Ivasa
Pavlovich.
should not be fighting that soon.
Oh, you think? He needs to
Gon
take a
put
break
it
after the
on him.
knockouts. Yeah.
That was 2 months or less that he got pieced up bad by a
And this
240-pound
one-
athlete, and he comes out and tries to brawl.
Yeah.
This
looked
guy
ugly.
though, I'm sorry, how do you pronounce his name again?
Pavlovich, I
It
think.
was just Pavlovich. Okay, it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
I mean,
He's
he
got
looked like
wrestling.
a monster.
He's got straight, hard punches, and he's got a hell of a reach for only 6'2.5".
He looked like a Terminator. Like he marched him down, and every time he touched him, it looked painful.
Who was his last win too? It was very impressive as well.
I'm not sure. I remember recognizing his name and thinking
He's a problem, dude.
Yeah,
I think he's a problem for anybody.
yeah. I mean, it's good to see. Oh, he beat Derek Lewis last in less than a minute. 55-second knockout of Derek Lewis, and then a 54-second of Tai Tuivasa. He's getting better apparently. Another first-round knockout before that over Shamil Abdurakhimov.
Oh, that guy's solid too. Yeah.
yeah.
And if I remember correctly, he launched him through the air, and that guy's huge. And
Yeah, so 3 first-round knockouts, 4 first.
he's
Five.
got a little bit of head movement and whatnot. I think if he
He
gets hands on anybody, they might be done.
has had 6 first-round knockouts in a row.
Wow.
And those are all of his fights in the UFC.
Wow.
All first-round knockouts.
Is he undefeated overall?
No, he's had 1 loss, it looks like. He's 17-1 overall.
And he's huge. He got hit pretty good too by Tuivasa, and it didn't even stun him.
Yeah, so he's got to be up for. It's so messed up how the heavyweight division is being held up right now. With I mean, I know that Ngannou and the UFC don't seem to be on great terms, and they keep waiting.
Jones
for
said he's happy to
John
fight
Jones.
Stipe.
Yeah,
I guess you'd have to put an interim title on that.
yeah. I don't. They keep saying that that's the fight to make, but they keep not making that fight.
Well, now Jones is talking about Ngannou again.
Yeah, which I'd love to see it, but I don't know. I don't know if John Jones can take that though.
Have you seen that interview with him talking about it recently?
No.
He says he worded it like this. He's all, you just got to get really, really comfortable with the worst case scenario. What's the worst case scenario? He knocks me out in the first round, fractures a bone in my face. Once you get comfortable with that, it's all smooth sailing. He's all, and he started listing the categories. I'm better than him here. I'm better than him here. I'm faster than him here. And I was like, okay, you got a point. You got a point.
He's one of those guys that I have.
I never doubt John Jones. He can.
That's the thing.
He probably needs to. He needs somebody to scare him to.
I always
for him to fight
doubt
his
John
best.
Jones, even though I mean, he's one of the best ever, possibly the best. But I always, every fight he has, I'm like, this guy, he just stays 1 inch ahead of people and wins on decisions. He's not a crazy,
had a finish
but
for a while, huh?
yeah. But even that, I discount that because I want entertaining fights, but he's still a good enough fighter to beat everybody he fights.
Yeah.
So my mentality of discounting him is ridiculous. It's quite possible that he moves up and just destroys Ngannou and then takes the next person and beats him. Because he keeps beating people. You can't discount John Jones.
Not in the cage, at least.
But yeah, outside, any bad rumor I hear about him, I'm gonna be like, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind hanging with him for a weekend.
Yeah, I always think about that interview he had with Joe Rogan where he talked about how
It's wasted the week before the
Yes. I was watching The Amazing Race, and early on in The Amazing Race, one of the teams, this girl was like, I hurt my knee, and then throughout the rest of the season, she's been like, "Oh, my knee really hurts, and my knee," and I'm
Giving
always
yourself
like,
a way out.
That's how it felt to me. It felt like, oh, she's doing the John Jones
built-in
thing.
excuse.
Like she gets to say now, like, I could have won, but like, my knee gave out. So, and I feel like it's really crazy that he was honest about that, because I think that a lot of any competitor does that. A lot of competitors do that for any sport that they do. And he's like, yeah, that's what I do. I give myself a built-in excuse, and then I go win anyway, so it doesn't even matter that I had a built-in excuse.
The only weaknesses I've ever seen in John Jones' game is maybe real smooth or quick footwork, and that's mostly because he relied on his reach.
Yeah.
And then it also seems to me like he lacks like one-shot knockout power.
Yeah.
So minus those two things,
seems true.
That's the end of the list.
Yeah.
That's the end of his slight weaknesses.
Yeah, that's what makes him so, like, he's obviously such a technically skilled fighter, because he's not knocking people out in one shot. Like, he is picking them apart over 5 rounds. Like, I'm sure he's had some of the longest cage time of any fighter in the UFC. Like, because he's been...
Maybe if he was more active.
He's been fighting 5-round fights.
That's true.
Since, like, what, 2012?
Because right now it's either Frankie Edgar or Jim Miller or...
Yeah, one of those guys who's had, like,
Dos Anjos
50
up there too.
round fights. Yeah.
Cowboy, all that.
Yeah, so we've reached the end of this. UFC 283.
What'd you think about the main event, though? Who'd you think won? Ankalaev?
I think Ankalaev. I think that he got 3, 4, and 5.
Three.
Think, yeah, I know that
he won the last 30, 45 seconds. It was a little longer than that.
I think like in that third round,
he got damaged.
He got the leg kick in the first minute. After that, he started closing the distance. From that point on, I thought he won the round. Well,
if you think of it like that, and you also give a 10-8 for round 5, you see him as a clear winner.
I would have given him a 10-9. I don't think he would have gotten a 10-8. I do think that if we do get more liberal with 10-8s in the sport, then yeah,
that could fix some stuff.
But like the way that we currently give out 10-8s, according to a podcast Chael Sonnen did, he was like, a 10-8 is the rounds where the ref could have stopped it.
To me, that's a 10-7.
But didn't. Yeah, you think so?
And that's the way they explain it now. Since what did they try to? They tried to
there
encourage
was a revamp recently, right?
With the last 2-3 years, and I thought to myself, that's a good thing, but it's still inconsistent on when they give the 10-8s.
Yeah, it is.
I think anything one-sided should be 10-8. But if you're almost going to finish the guy, now 10-7. Now, if they have an issue just putting that damn 8 on there, they're going to have to change the 0.5 system, right?
Yeah.
9.5 to 10. 9-10.
Yeah.
8.5, 10. That could help too.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be. That's what I'm explaining is the same logic,
Yeah.
Just people, the ref has a problem putting that 8 on there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but I think Ankalaev probably should have won.
Yeah, he's the best light heavyweight in the world.
Even if they gave the win to Blachowicz, I would have been happier than the draw.
Yeah.
Though I'll push back on him being the best light heavyweight. I'm a huge Prochazka fan. I think Prochazka gets in there with Ankalaev. It's going to be a tough matchup.
When's his durability going to run out, though?
That's a good question.
When's his chin going to go down?
Not yet. That's my answer. Not yet.
Because I think technically it's not even close, I'd say. But he's just fine. He's just a fighter. He's a dog.
Wild, yeah.
He's a dog. He's got all the heart in the world, you know?
A year ago, if you would have asked me Prochazka or Ankalaev, I would have been like, Prochazka's not going to be able to deal with Ankalaev's grappling. And then...
That still could possibly
Then I saw the Teixeira-Prochazka fight, and he dealt with Teixeira's grappling pretty well. There was a lot of exchanges where he ended up on top at the end of the round, and it was like, oh, this guy can actually grapple. And
a lot of that was like... explosion and athleticism and just pure heart and cardio, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's got heart for days. He's got the will of the warrior, man. He's
a
samurai.
Right, there's you can't doubt him either, but when I on paper, I think I see a lot of ways for Ankalaev to win. I only see 1 or 2 ways for Yuri to win, and that's through straight grit.
There's also like the fact that he's so young he's 29, I think. He may have just turned 30.
I want to say he is. And but Ankalaev's not too old.
Ankalaev, I think, is pretty young
about the same age, I'd say.
Yeah, probably. So Prohashka's got a lot that he can grow, but yeah, Ankalaev has a lot that he can grow as well. So like they've got time to become like
that could be we could see that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Assuming
so I'm excited.
Assuming his durability hangs in there.
Yeah. I mean, even now with the shoulder, like
that's what I feel so bad about Tuivasa for. Like his durability is his biggest. Durability and power are his biggest assets, right?
Yeah.
You just put a big dent in your durability by fighting in 2 months.
Yep.
You better take a year and a half off, dude.
Yeah, to rest up.
If you want to get your career to get back to the top.
Yeah, he's gonna have another one of these swings where he has multiple losses in a row and then has to reform his game and come back and get some wins. I feel worried for Prohashka because like we just saw it with T.J. Dillashaw and his shoulder. We saw it not too long ago with Brian Ortega and his shoulder. Like once somebody's shoulder,
I heard it's bad too. I heard it's bad.
Yeah, they said it was the worst in UFC history.
So with Dillashaw recently retiring, I wasn't sure if they referred to Dillashaw's shoulder injury or Yuri's.
I know that I've seen they called Yuri's the worst shoulder injury in UFC history. I guess like. From what I read, he got it popped out in...
AC joint, labrum, everything, huh?
Got it popped out in the gym, and they tried to reinsert it in the gym, and that's what tore it up. So, like, I'm worried that, like, once he comes back, it'll just be too easy to pop it out again, like the last Ortega fight where he...
Did that happen? Okay, what was Ortega's last fight?
It was... I'm not sure who it was against. Not Rodriguez.
He hasn't won in a while, right?
I think he's only had... I think his last 2 fights were this one where he got his shoulder popped out, and the one before that I think was the title shot, which was a great fight. And so when going into this last one where he got his shoulder popped, I was thinking like, oh, he's going to get this. Like, this is going to be a good fight, but he's going to win. But no, I guess like really early on he got his shoulder popped out. So I'm worried for Prohashka. I hope it doesn't become a chronic issue. I hope that he can come back in a year and a half and...
A guy I love watching him, and he's such a warrior.
Yeah,
honorable the way he relinquished the title and whatnot.
Yeah, right. Good move,
but
by
he's missing some details.
Yeah, I mean, he's wild. He did say after that last fight, he was like, "That was an ugly performance. Yeah. Like I should have done it more beautifully." But yeah,
he said something similar to his fight prior to that.
Yeah, it's crazy to say that after that Teixeira fight because like he didn't lose. He didn't barely win because he was fighting bad. He barely won because both of them were so good.
Yes.
It wasn't a matter of Teixeira losing and him just skating by. It was a matter of them both fighting their hearts out. That's one of my favorite fights of all time. I just showed it to somebody recently.
That's pure heart. That fight is just...
Both of them had their moments where it was like, oh, this is going to end right now. Like, he's getting his face pounded in. Oh, he just
Teixeira doesn't go for the takedown at the end?
Yeah. If he didn't,
it would have been just one more old school uppercut.
He got into that, he got into that guillotine. He was like, I'm going to finish with submission.
But I understand.
You had a TKO right there. And that was one where, like, I was happy if Teixeira would have won because, like I said, Prohashka is so young where it's like, he'll have time to fight for it again, whereas Teixeira, it's like...
42.
This is near his
end.
I
believe, if not 43 by now.
Yeah, right? Yeah. All right, so we
went past
an hour here. Anybody you want to shout out?
Shout out to everybody at 10th Planet Eclipse right now. Yeah. So every
it's called Eclipse.
Yeah, so they do a whole weekend. This is my second year in a row not going to. And that's not good because I should be there networking and whatnot. So what they do is they do a open mat Friday night. Saturday is a meeting for all the 10th Planet owners. There's 100 and something across the world.
Okay. So
all the owners they have like more of a business seminar kind of thing to grow their gyms. Then in the evening they have the actual party and they provide entertainment by making team quintet style matchups. This time it was brown belts. Last time it was blue belts. But a 10th Planet blue belt will surprise you sometimes. Yeah. They're performing at a high level already, to be honest. And then today they do another open mat, I believe. So it's a whole weekend thing, Christmas party thing, That's pretty cool. And they've just been doing it at the damn gym the last couple of years, since COVID.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We're in there. There's music, there's entertainment, everyone's got their drink and smoke in the gym.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody, all the 10 planets worldwide. I thought you were going to comment on the hat.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I saw it when you were walking up. I was thinking, is he wearing a mega?
Is he really a mega guy?
That's cool. That's cool.
That's okay too. Yeah. That's okay too.
But it's
a play on words, and it's
yeah.
I like the looks I get.
Yeah, it's a good design. Say what you will about fascists, they know how to make fashion.
I like the play on words.
Yeah, shout out to everyone at 10th Planet. I mean,
10th Planet Long Beach is open now.
I get so excited anytime I see a fighter listed as a 10th Planet fighter. I'm always like, okay, well, we might see
here. Something, right?
Yeah,
but sometimes it can be a shame when you see somebody like Gastelum just get heel hooked with some basic ass shit by Jack Hermanson. You're like, okay, you just left all your grappling behind.
Or was it Patty yesterday who went for he started going for
rubber guard?
Plata? Yeah, for rubber guard. I was like,
the first
okay.
Fight of the night, in the early prelims.
Yeah.
The very first fight, it was a close one. What were their names? Kozlo versus Simon, and man, there was some good grappling in there. Good grappling. And he threw up a little bit of rubber guard. For a second, it looked like he knew what he was doing. He went for a dead Urchard, and he had crackhead control at one point, I believe. So it seemed like he knew a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been the last couple times I grappled at my gym, I was doing trying to get
Lockdown?
Triangles from mount. A lot of the times I go for the arm triangles, but I was like, I want to get my legs more flexible and putting it under their head.
My coach has one of the best arm triangles in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not even nowhere good at it, dude. It's
yeah.
Man, what did I miss?
It's something, to me it's so simple because I like whenever I first started training,
crawl up stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was taught for the Americana, crawl up to get their arm there, then go in for the Americana, and once I'm already halfway there, I'm already got the arm behind their head. I'm like, I'll just transition, get them into that arm triangle.
It's a squeeze you have to develop and learn and get a feel for. And,
I love
tough.
Seeing jiu-jitsu artists use crazy leg submissions, going for triangles from weird positions or goga platas and omoplatas. I'm always oh snap, what's he doing with that leg? He's doing something with that leg.
Like a sub-only style grappler in MMA.
yeah, it's so fun to watch. So shout out to 10th Planet, everyone who watched. Thanks for sticking around for an hour.
10thplanetlongbeach.com, matfit.org. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming through. All right, have a good night, everyone. Finally